going, guys? Before we start this video, I'd like to actually like and subscribe. My goal is to actually get to 500 by January 1st, even though it's kind of a larger goal. We're at around 385 at the moment, so we only need 115. We're almost at 400, so tell your friends everything. I'm trying as hard as I can at the moment by being more consistent with my uploading daily at this point. I would upload multiple times a day, but I feel like I'd oversaturate you guys and you wouldn't really be interested in the content if I just spent all my time making bad content. Even though the content I make now is kind of subpar, I'm growing as it goes on, okay? My words aren't as jumbled up as they were inside like my earlier videos. So, anyway, I really would like to ask for your support, and if you decide to support me, thank you. Subscribe, it doesn't take anything off of you in any way. If you're watching this, you might like my content, so why not? I'm not going to ask you to really press the bell because I know notifications can get annoying, so let's begin. We start this video off with Goku leaving Yardrat and making his way toward Earth. After around a couple of days of traveling, around an hour before he actually reaches the planet, he hears a voice in his head telling him to stop where he is right now. Goku ignores this, wondering who this is. The old man continues begging him to stop at this moment, but he completely ignores him until he hears words out of this old man's mouth telling him, "Your grandpa wouldn't appreciate it if you were to disrespect me." Goku slows the ship down and actually even stops it, asking this man, "You know my grandfather?" I'm like, "Yes, I know Gohan. He was the disciple of someone I was quite acquainted with back in the day." Goku stops, asking what his grandfather's name was if he knew him so chummingly, telling him that his name was Gohan. He asks the old man what he wants. He says that he wants to make a deal, well, not really a deal, an alliance, between his star pupil, Tien, and Goku. Goku immediately denies this because he doesn't need any help, especially not from any weakling. Goku immediately assumes that this man's a weakling, seeing as he hasn't cleaned up the situation of the Earth. Till the man goes on, even challenging and talking back to Goku, who's not really bothered by this, but is kind of impressed by the man's bravado. We know this is Tien, who spent all of his time training. He even spent some time with the Kais and learned the Kaioken. He didn't actually die during this point, but Kami actually vouched for him, realizing that he might very well need that technique. Goku tells them what do they want. Why are they bothering him when he's going to clean up their own mess, seeing as the Earth is more of a home for them than it is for him, seeing as he spent the majority of his time in space. Kami tells him that he'll need help. He'll need someone to scout the planet below, because it wasn't just the androids that Goku had known. Jiro, anticipating the Super Saiyan's return, had actually started construction of an army of androids across the globe, basically surveying everything around the area, around the entire planet, to the point where if he makes a move on Earth, he'll instantly be notified and ambushed. Goku doesn't really care about this. He already has a plan for all of this. Goku's instant transmission should be enough for him to arrive on Earth alone, and he already has a safe haven in mind, with this being Muten Roshi's island. Kami says, although his plan might work, it's better to be safe than sorry. and Goku decides to finally humor him, telling Tien that he'll accept their help for the moment, but don't think of them as equals just because he accepted this deal. Tien begrudgingly accepts because he doesn't really like being insulted, but he absolutely hates the androids and what they're doing to the planet. So as soon as Goku stops his ship, he tells Kami to let out a bit of his power, and he should be able to sense it, seeing how unique his ki is. And Goku instantly arrives on the lookout. Goku looks at the old man, not really worried about his strange appearance, but to the point where he basically looks like a raisin. And he sees Tien, who he immediately identifies as the young man who was able to act so cocky on the phone. But in his mind, Tien's nothing special. Goku looks at Kami and asks what his plan is. Kami begins to smile and says that his plan is on its way. Goku is pretty confused by this. This is when he sees a green man arrive on the lookout, looking intently at him and attacking him. Goku quickly stops the man and slams him into the pavement. This being Piccolo Jr. Goku's pretty confused. He finally makes the connection when he looks at both Kami and Piccolo. He looks at Kami and asks him, "Didn't I already kill you?" He says, "No. You killed the part of me. Well, I should be thanking you. You killed the evil portion of me." That being King Piccolo. Goku doesn't really have anything to say, nor does he really care. But Piccolo Jr. just continues trying to attack Goku. Goku kind of remarks that this man right here is pretty strong. They continue fighting, with Piccolo Jr. even able to overpower Goku somewhat when he's not inside the Super Saiyan form. He doesn't go Super Saiyan, obviously, but he put up somewhat of a challenge when Goku was untransformed. He tells them that he has a way that they can train for 1 year in the span of a day. Goku's intrigued, wanting to be as strong as possible, being that he wants to rip every last one of those androids limb from limb, just for the sin of harming those that he cares about. He puts his bravado and superiority complex aside, asking the old man what he means. He introduces them to the room of spirit and time, telling them that the three of them will go in. Tien remarks that wouldn't be very wise, seeing as there's only enough food for 2 people. Kami says that shouldn't be a problem, seeing as Piccolo doesn't require food, he only requires water. Piccolo Jr. looks at all of them and says, "Don't include me like I'm a part of this. I don't care about Earth's squabbles. You killed my father, so I've come to kill you." Although Piccolo had never met Goku, he still remembers his ki from when he punched his father straight through the chest. That intimidating presence that he gave off during that time. He'd never forget that man's ki. This is when Goku chimes in and tells him if he really wants to kill him, he should get inside the room as well. He'll give him as many times as he wants in that 1 year that 1 year time frame. Piccolo begrudgingly accepts, and they begin going in. And they close the door, realizing that they're going to be stuck in here for 1 year. The reason Kami did this was he kind of manipulated the Saiyans as well. The Saiyan, as well as Piccolo, he thinks that their patriarchy of Earth, of wanting to protect it, Tien's might rub off on the 2 of them, and Earth might gain 2 more powerful protectors. Upon arrival there, They find nothing waiting for them but an empty void, a fridge full of food, as well as a pretty large sack of senzu beans. Tien explains their use to Goku and Piccolo, with Goku promptly punching him in the face, sending him flying across the void, injuring him quite severely. He goes up to Tien, who asks Goku what he's doing. He says, "I'm going to kill you," telling him that from the tone of that old man's voice, they've had these beans for quite a while, and it could have been used to help save his comrades, but they chose not to. So he's going to get revenge by proxy of killing his only disciple. This is when Piccolo comes at Goku, ready to take his head off with a quite clean chop. But Goku stops this attack. Piccolo gets angrier, begins attacking him as hard as he can. And this is how it goes on. This is where I'm going to leave it off, with three of them in this 1 year time frame constantly being inside basically a deadlock of wanting to kill each other. Anyway, that's the end of this part. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for staying in. Goodbye. Remember, support. Please support. I almost forgot to say that because I'm very tired. I just spent like 5 hours doing nothing but work that I missed. Anyway, thank you. Tell your friends. Subscribe. Goodbye.